All protocols observed. Everywhere Liberians invite me, I go there, whether two persons. Because I want to be present for all Liberians. That's what I say in Bakwai Town. Bakwai Town is a town across the Cestos River, and you take a canoe from Cestos City to go there. If you take a canoe that you row, that you pedal, it takes you 4 to 5 hours to go there. I took a frantic canoe, I chartered a frantic canoe when I went to River Cess, and it took me 35 minutes because it was a motorized canoe. 35 minutes to go to Bakwai Town. It's up the river. And I was told no superintendent, no district commissioner, no representative, no senator had ever been there. They said something more. They said this is the hometown of Mark Annie, the late mother of President George Weah. But George Weah had never been to this town. What made you brave to cross the Cestos River to come? My answer was swift and precise. My answer was, there's no risk too big for me to take for Liberia. And I want to be present for all Liberians, those who live in Cestos City and those who live up the way in Bakwai Town. I'm saying this because I came into a virtually empty hall. I have spoken around the world. In 2003, I delivered a speech at the annual educational conference of the A. Phil Randolph Institute, the biggest black labor movement in America, with a hall full of 1,000 people. That speech was titled, Liberia, the nation still struggling to live up to its meaning. Because Liberia was established as a country that would serve as an asylum for all oppressed black people. And that it will be a shining example to show to other races of the world that black people are capable of governing themselves. That dream has not been realized. Other countries that gained independence long time after Liberia are making effort to give concrete meaning to that dream. Botswana, for example, is a country that was established that gained independence 119 years after Liberia. Today, it is one of the developed countries, not just in Africa, but in the world. They have, when you get to Botswana, or when you read about Botswana, you think you are in Europe. Great health system, great educational system, great infrastructure. Everything is moving much better than most countries in the world. Why? Because Botswana is the least corrupt country in Africa. So most of the money is spent on the people, not on the leaders. So that issue of integrity is linked directly to not being corrupt. Now, that speech I delivered was so powerful that Thabo Mbeki, as president of South Africa, quoted 5 paragraphs of that speech. Because I said, unless we have good leaders in Africa, no black man around the world will be respected. And I call upon the African Americans that you should help us to change the situation in Africa. Otherwise, you will not be respected here. As long as Africans go to Europe, go to America out of necessity, not out of choice, because of the terrible conditions in their country, nobody will respect any black man anywhere. You don't find citizens of Botswana in America and other places so often. They go there as a matter of choice because their country is good. Liberians are in America and other places out of necessity. Since the war ended, some went as refugees. The story had not changed, so they can't come back. The only way to move this country forward is to end corruption. That's why I had the broom. And I said I will sweep corruption from the government when you elect a president. But you cannot sweep corruption if you are corrupt yourself. Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. You cannot change anything if you yourself are subject of change. When I was in government, when I was in school, like the young man who spoke, very idealistic, very critical of government officials. 1978, I was a young student at the age of 22 and went to jail for criticizing government. I was a sophomore student at the University of Liberia. At that time, University of Liberia just had 2,000 or 3,000 students, and they were many of them were older. And the police who arrested me thought I was a grown boy because 22 years you go to university. Yes. So when I became a member, I started working in government. My prayer every morning to God was, help me not to cross the line that I shouted at other people for. You cannot say you are not corrupt unless you are really working in Liberian government and resisted the temptation to be corrupt. The temptation is great. Your friends, your schoolmates will come to you who are not qualified for a particular position in your ministry, and they want you to place them there. And you must have the courage to say no. Because if I place you there, you will not perform, and the Liberian people will not get what they should get for their tax money that we use to run the government. You must not employ your brothers and sisters or your town mates. You must resist the temptation to employ or do things you shouldn't do for your church deacon or pastor. You must resist that temptation. And then when you come in there, you can say, I'm not corrupt. Because our people say, if you say you can plant new mat, show the old one. If you haven't had the experience in government, I don't trust you when you say anything about you not being corrupt. Because I've been there. You know, people say, when catfish come from in the water and talk about crocodile, black deer, can't say no. Because you have no knowledge of what happened under that water. I resigned from a government as minister. Not many people can resign me as assistant minister or even director. And the journalist that interviewed me that day said, Tiawan Gongloe, you really resigning as minister? We can't resign. Minister job, you travel all over the world, you got cars, you got this. I say I'm loyal to 2 C's, my country and my conscience. I was in a government that was ignoring all the corruption that was taking place. The president did not have the courage to fight corruption. And she admitted in the end, after I resigned from government, she said corruption became a vampire under her regime. She said it became a vampire, which means when she became president, it was not a vampire. So I was justifying leaving a government because of the endemic corruption in government. And I can tell you my experience. One chief from my area really made me shame among people. And if I was weak, I would have changed. He said, you're a wicked man. The job you got, the one who used to call in the old days sector. They say, the job you can even tell Firestone to give me 1 Jeep. You can even tell Metal Steel to give me 1 Jeep. But they say you're straight. You don't want to do it, you're a wicked boy. And among people, we are gone for a feast. Somebody would die for a village. If I had been weak, actually, a minister can actually say to a company, give 1 Jeep. Give me 1 Jeep. They give it, you give it to the old man. You get a name in the village. Good name. But what would be the cost to Liberian people? It means as Minister of Labor, if fire student workers go on strike, instead of me trying to solve the problem, I'll be begging the workers, I beg you, your own way. I will talk to the company. Even if the company brings so many people, foreigners who have not paid their work permit fees, I will not fine the company. I will not take any action because of my personal interest I've gotten gift. The cost will have been so high for the Liberian people. So I was courageous to say, oh man, I can't do it. When I come in town, for my salary that government gave it, they'll give you something. I want enough. He said to me, so when can we say that we had a son from the village who became minister? When we joined, he said, I'm supposed to get one car as clan chief. When I get to Cllr, when they call all the chiefs to Cllr, the superintendent call everybody. When the primary chief get in from the motorbike, I get out from the car, then I put my gun up, I put it up so they'll be walking and say, oh, chief, how you manage? He said, you don't know my son, I minister. It sounded attractive, but I thank God that I had the courage to say no. Simply because I have been critical of everybody in government and on my time. Look, people say, I used to return money, the comptroller would say, Minister, I give you 500 and you've been changed. I said, because I expect you to do it. I left government, I think it was a year or two. And one minister was there and said, oh, there's money here, over $2,000 check for you from the United Nations. I said, it's not for me, it's for the ministry. Why? Because I was going to Geneva to attend a meeting, and UN was supposed to take care of my ticket and my per diem. And because the trip was due and the UN bureaucracy had not gone through, I took money from the ministry, I ordered the comptroller to buy my ticket and give me per diem to go. When I resigned from the government, it was long after I resigned from the government that money came, and the minister called me and said, there's a check here for you from the UN. I said, it's not for me, it's for the ministry. Nobody knew. But that's why the young man talk about integrity is doing what is right, even if nobody knows, even if nobody is looking. I used to return money at the Ministry of Labor all the time, Ministry of Justice. So when I became president of the bar, my first trip to Nigeria, the bar gave me $1,000. I've explained that in the public many times. The bar gave me $1,000 when I got there. The African bar, I was going to attend the African bar conference. They took care of my hotel, they took care of everything. Everywhere we travel all over Nigeria. When we got to Abuja, I said, I have a case in the court day after tomorrow. I have to get back to argue my case. They said, that is not an African bar responsibility. So I bought a ticket from Abuja to Lagos, and then I spent one night. I spent $187 in total. I came back to the bar and reported, I got $817 for you. Another trip I took to the African community, the West African Community Court of Justice invited me to Lomé. The bar gave me $1,000. When I got there, the ECOWAS Community Court of Justice gave me $1,200 per time. I didn't even open the bar envelope. I brought it back. It is good. Two things two benefits of that. One, you do well for the organization of the country, and you also sleep so soundly. You feel good when you do it. So we're talking about integrity and Portland. So we have had the experience of upholding integrity. You need to tell you young people so that you can learn by it. Try to keep your words, act what you say, and not just speak. I was telling someone the other day, you see a pastor, and then they say, all the pastor children drunk, but the man does not drink. But the public does not know that that pastor, his whole life has been keeping root water under his bed. And every time the children say, Papa, we're going to clean your room, they go and drink some of that. And then they come up becoming drunk. And the public is astonished. How come the pastor's children are drunkards and the men do not drink? Well, his lack of integrity, but because he thinks people don't know every time you go in that room, he's drinking, and the report is on his bed, the children go and clean his room, and he does not complain. What happened, my root bottle going down? Because his wife and everybody know he doesn't drink. See how harmful lack of integrity can be. End of his children, none of them finish high school because they are all drunkards. Integrity is good. It is right. And somebody say, what will you do with it? How will you sweep corruption? I start with myself. I've introduced and I've told all on the air, I've told all the people who are looking for this position, including George Weah. In fact, I have said publicly that if George Weah were to say to us where he got money for the 7-story building and what his salary is, what his benefit is every month, and says that he will subject himself to quarterly lifestyle audit, which I have in my plan, my prescription for combating corruption, I will drop from the race. I said that publicly. And he has not done it. I said that months ago. And I've said to my colleagues, how can the Liberian people employ people and they don't know their salaries? Let us agree that the president, I have said when I become president, my salary, my benefits will be on the internet. It will be in the newspapers. It will be in simple English so that Liberian people can know how much the president is receiving every month. So we can't speculate. Today, and all the ministers that report in the 3 branches of government, we don't know the lawmaker's salary, we speculate. We don't know the chief justice and justice's salary, we speculate. We don't know the minister's salary. We need to know. It is our right to know under the Constitution. Under Article 15C of the Constitution, it is stated the people have a right to know about the government and its functionaries. One of the information we need to know about our government, how much we are paying, how much are we paying them. We need to know. It is our right. It is their obligation to let us know. And one of the obligations I will fulfill as president. And I've said, as president, I will subject myself to quarterly lifestyle audit. So that when people come and say, Councilor Gongloe, you have 1-story building in your town, one 1-story building. Now we see you building 10-story building in Glaze of Peace. I must explain to the auditor. And there's no way for me to explain that to the auditor unless you say I'm corrupt. I beg you, come on me. Because my salary will not be 10-story building. Or they say there's a yak at the Freeport that is called Margibi County that you can go and spend 1 week on where you got that money from the president. Every 3 months, the president and all the ministers should be subjected to quarterly lifestyle audit to check on our expenditure and compare it with our income. That's the only way to fight corruption. We have to take a rigid step to fight corruption. Because when we do that, and the salaries of the ministers, the lawmakers, the justices, the judges, everybody, all president's salary. When one minister from Dwazon here is building 5-story building, and you know his salary every month is not even $5,000, you will have the clear conscience. That young man who was talking will say, the minister is stealing. Because I know he didn't get money to build a kind of house there, and not his salary. Where are you getting the money from? We publish his asset, we know how much you owe, how much you own, how much is what, how much you're getting every month. Let us do that. Let us, when they say, let the political parties collaborate, I say, let us collaborate, not on personality, but on issues. One of the issues we should collaborate on, how we move this country forward, how to fight corruption. Because I say, when we do the quarterly lifestyle audit, we'll publish a report in the newspaper for everybody to read. And then, as president, I say, Mr. Minister, you're building a $500,000 house, and you've been in government for 3 months. Your salary has not even reached $15,000. Where you got the money from? When you start scratching, Mr. President, I'll fire you. I'll fire you and turn you over to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission. I'm a lawyer. I will follow that step that you should be prosecuted. Go, one to set example. You go to jail for 5 to 10 years. And then your property is, they want the money you stole, the balance in the bank will take them from you. The houses and cars you bought will take them from you. You go to jail. You think when 5 ministers are in jail for 10 years each, and all their properties that they made with the stolen money, and the balance of money is taken from them, and their family members suffering, and then minister will want to steal again, they will finish tapping it. They will finish sweeping for corruption. That was it. You think anybody who won't come to government to steal, when you see you treat the other minister like that, they will want government job again? When we do that, then we'll have enough money for our health service, for our educational system, for road building. We'll put caterpillars in all the counties to maintain the roads. Today, you can't pass through Tapeta to go to the southeastern part of Nigeria with motor vehicle. You have to go by motorbike. For what? Those people have a right to come to Monrovia anytime. But 6 months of the year, nobody can go to southeastern Nigeria because of corruption. Government, the money that government, yet I hear people going to thank President George Weah. Amen. Corruption became vampire under President Selim. But people are still buying cocoa for $100, the maximum $125. Today, cocoa is $400. And one person cannot buy it. You got to join together to buy it. And when you join together, you can buy it by CP. I want to be president. I know the reality. I ask the people. The cocoa seller say, oh, some of my friends are out of the market now because when they put take it by CP, then you don't see them 2-3 days, you get out of the market. Because they need to get that money to cook again. Today in Monrovia, you can't get enough cocoa after 2 o'clock. They cook small rice because they don't want it to leave over. Because of the level of poverty. How Liberia has become the 10th poorest countries in the world under President George Weah, then people saying thank you. I don't understand that. That's deception. But I know the reality. I was told that all the civil servants were told they were threatened to come there with their family members and take photograph and send it to the bosses that, yeah, me and my children, yeah, me and my wife and children. They were told that. They were told in the market, if you don't show up on Monday, you will not sell in this market. And one of the uncle ever told me that I went to the market and stabbed me. So they coerced the people. They did not go voluntarily. Even that is lack of integrity. It's lack of integrity. You telling the world that people keep to tell you thank you, and they because they job, but then you force them to actually come tell you thank you. That is not integrity. That is not integrity. Under this government, they boast here. They say, oh, free education. At the universities, they are having difficulty to keep the schools open. You go to I've traveled to 327 towns around Liberia. I'm not talking about Ganta and Bangladesh. Outside the main road. So I can see the conditions under which Liberians are living. Because you cannot solve a problem that you do not need. And every town I went to, where they got government school, they got what they call volunteer teachers. They are not paid by government. It means they can leave the school anytime. They come to say, our house cannot do anything. The town say, oh, we'll get small thing. When they don't get it, they leave. It means majority of the children in this country, even the ones in school, are not learning anything. And then to enter the government school, the parents have to pay. So in many towns, I saw a boy in Bokasa. I said, why you not, what class you say I'm in 2nd grade? Why you not in school? My parents get money, my mom get money. So they can't go to school. And then you say the people, those people coming to tell you, thank you. Pregnant women are dying. Liberia is among the 10 countries in the world with the highest rate of death among pregnant women. Simply because when they get pregnant, they don't have money to go to clinic. And even when they get to clinic, find the money to get to clinic, they get them prescription to go to drugstores. They don't have money to go to drugstores. Then you say that those people are telling you thank you. I know it's time, you know, and they tell you thank you. That is lack of integrity because genuinely nobody voluntarily went over there to tell you thank you. Let us join together to ask difficult questions, to recommend very rigid, support my 10. I have a 12-count prescription, Gongloe prescription for fighting corruption that begins with what I'm saying. Openness. We know our president's salary audible. There's no way anything that operates in darkness is not good. Because they do it that way, so by the time you say, look at you building, look at the president for the 7-story building. They say, you know how much the president has. But the president said you were broke, you could not pay child support with your senator. So how come now the president is paying for the 7-story building? Unless that's magical. Unless you got money machine to the house to manufacture US dollar that we don't do. But then that money laundering should be the bank. So the people who support it say, oh, you know how much the man had. I said, but the man himself took a man, a very man sued him in New York for child support. He told the people on record that I don't have money. I'm making 1,000 something. If you didn't have money, how can you build over $5 million estate overnight in 8 months after being found? And all the ministers started doing their own, all the legislators started doing their own. So my people, integrity is good, but let's hold our government. Let elect people. This election here, as the young man was saying, must be based on integrity. Now not today, we must check behind them, not what they say to us. Because every lawmaker now should not go back. Because they took $30,000 each. They say they lie on the radio. They say the $30,000 will go back to our place. They can be asking for Charlie, Margibi, hair pump, so I will take it for everywhere I want to ask. Your lawmaker told you took $30,000 in 2021. They said no. Because they were asking me, counter, you want to be president when you pay our Margibi? I said, give $30,000 to your lawmaker for it. Then they say, I said 2 years, $60,000. They point the law that their money cannot be audited. It's called legislative engagement fund. That may in Nigeria, because it doesn't exist anywhere in the world. I check China, I check America, I check England, I check France, all their laws. We are the only one in Liberia that got something called legislative engagement fund. They put a big grammar behind the money just to steal our money. Thank you very much.